Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're good. In this video, we're going to be talking about Insta360's accessories. More specifically, the ones I recommend to get the most out of your camera. Now, Insta360 actually have loads and loads and loads of different accessories, obviously meant for different circumstances, different environments, and they aren't all necessary for everyone. You know, not everyone needs all of these accessories, but I do think that there are about 4 or 5 that most people do really need to get the most out of their cameras. So I'm going to take you through them now and show you why I think they're important, why I think they're useful, and what they can do. So let's get into it right now. Now, probably the most popular, the most requested, the most bought, definitely the most useful Insta360 accessory is their invisible selfie stick. I've used this accessory in basically every video that I've ever made with the camera. It is by far the most useful, by far the best accessory, and one that I literally think everyone who buys a Insta360 camera should buy. This selfie stick is designed to be invisible when used in conjunction with either the Insta360 One X2 or the One R or One RS using the 360 mode. One of my most popular videos ever is a kind of really basic video about how to get that invisible selfie stick effect. I made it years ago, I think even before Insta360 even came out with their own version. So this kind of trick has been around for a while. The way it works is that the selfie stick is thin enough, small enough, and has no protruding parts out at the top so that it fits into a blind spot in between the two lenses of a 360 camera. This is not unique to Insta360 line of cameras. You can get this effect with any 360 camera from any company, but Insta360 were smart enough to make a specific accessory that is designed to do this. Do you know, I actually think that I may have discovered this effect. I'm not sure entirely. Maybe I found someone else talking about it, but I made a video way back in 2016 with the first ever 360 cameras and talking about how if you used a light stand like what this is attached to, that you could make it invisible, you could make it look like the camera is floating. And then a couple years later, the accessories came out. So I'm not sure if I actually discovered it, but I definitely was one of the first ones to make videos and content about it. So you're welcome. Don't worry, I'm not going to sue anyone. Maybe I should have, but no, it's fine. So with this accessory, you can basically make it look like your camera is floating. A lot of people who don't know about 360 cameras will not really understand how this is possible. You can create a third person, first person, side tracking shot, depending on which direction you hold the invisible selfie stick. You have to make sure the camera is perfectly in line with the selfie stick. It can't be kind of bent to one side. You have to make sure it's perfectly perpendicular with the selfie stick in line with those two lenses, as you can see here. That's how you ensure the effect is going to happen. There have been several iterations of the invisible selfie stick. The most recent one, which I have right here, actually doubles as a remote control and a spare battery. There is a battery in this selfie stick, and there is also some buttons here. You connect the camera to the selfie stick with a mini USB. This increases the battery life of the camera 3 times over. One of the downsides of Insta360's cameras is that the battery life isn't the best. But with this selfie stick, see, it's quite long as well. You'll be able to extend the battery 3 times over and use the selfie stick as you would any other one. You can also turn the camera on, off, and activate the shutter while connected to this selfie stick. So this is probably the most advanced, it's the most expensive version. If you didn't really need that extra capacity, then they do sell a cheaper version, which is just a plastic carbon fiber kind of selfie stick, which works just as well and will be a bit lighter too. The most recent one also improved the locking mechanism, so yeah, it stays in place better than the first few versions. So whatever version you get, guys, this is my #1 recommendation. That's how I get the best shots. That's how the best shots are achieved with any 360 camera, but particularly Insta360s. They have really gone in hard with using this effect to the best of its ability. With all the different special video effects they have in the app, a lot of them require a invisible selfie stick, so you will really be missing out if you don't get one. Sometimes they have sales, and sometimes if you click the links in the description, sometimes you get like a free invisible selfie stick with they kind of give me a special deal for people who watch my videos and buy stuff from my links. Sometimes there's free accessories and sometimes that is one of them, so check that out. Okay, the next one on my list, and okay, you could call it basically the same as the first one, but it's the extended invisible selfie stick. Now, I promise that not all of these are going to be the same. This is the last one, but this, I'm counting it separately from the first one because it has slightly different uses, and it may not be for everyone as well because it is a bit more difficult to use. The extended invisible selfie stick extends to literally like 3 times longer than the normal one. I literally can't extend it in this room because there's literally not enough room here to extend it to its full size. But with this, you can create even more unique effects. I mentioned for the last one that you could create a drone-like effect, which is true, but with this, you can really fool anyone to thinking you are using a drone because you can put your camera so high as a drone would sometimes go. It makes it look like your camera is literally flying. And particularly nowadays, most places, particularly cities, have bans on drones, especially like in the center of cities, major cities. So you will literally never be able to use a drone unless you get a very special license. But with this, you will be able to get that drone-like effect even in the center of London, center of Paris, Berlin. So this is basically the only way to get that kind of effect in these places. So yeah, this is not for everyone because, you know, it does require a little bit of skill and it's, you know, massive, so it won't be for everyone. But if you do want some special effects in your shots and you want drone-like effects in places you wouldn't be able to get them, this is the best way to do that. And I didn't invent this one, so like I'm okay with that. Okay, the next accessory is not so exciting, but I think is also completely necessary, and it is the protective case, specifically for the Insta360 One X2. I think the One R and the One RS come with a kind of plastic protector anyway, so it's not as necessary, but for the One X2, this hard plastic case, oh, it's not plastic, but it's hard case, is really, really necessary because it is so easy to break and damage your camera. And the only times I've ever done it is when I've not actually been using it because I've tried to put it in my pocket, it slipped out of my pocket, or I've given it to someone and they've not been able to take care of it properly. But just having this case specifically designed to fit the camera in and it won't come out, even if the camera just rubs against something that you may forget is in there, it's gonna scratch the lenses. They're so vulnerable, and even a tiny little scratch will basically ruin your shots and you'll have to pay a lot of money to get it fixed. It's not too expensive, and like the investment probably gonna save you money. The number one issue that I see on the Facebook groups and everything is how someone's scratched their lens, broke their lens, and it's just not fixable unless you literally send it to China. It's going to take a long time. So this is definitely worth buying just to save you that hassle. The next accessory, which you should probably consider if you are going to use your camera underwater, is either the waterproof case or the dive case. Insta360's cameras are technically waterproof to like 5 meters or so. However, to make sure that these cameras are waterproof, every battery compartment, every door in the camera needs to be completely sealed tight. So all of these and where the USB is, you know, all of these need to be completely sealed. And it's easy to forget, and for something to be slightly loose, even just by a tiny little bit, or some kind of material to be interfering with it, and then your camera will be ruined because water will get in. I think the second biggest complaint in all of the groups and stuff is that the cameras stop working when people put them in water, and they complain why. If you don't do it 100% perfectly, your camera will get damaged beyond repair. So the waterproof and dive case, I think if you're going to be taking it underwater, I would only ever take the cameras underwater using these accessories. You can get some awesome underwater shots with these cameras, but I just wouldn't risk it without those accessories. Next up is, well, it's not one thing, but a kind of series of things. It's the Insta360 bundles that are available. Now, what I mean by bundles, I can give you an example. This one, I have this one. It's called the bike bundle. Obviously, it is a range of accessories that are perfectly designed to be used with a bike. For me, this is the one I got because I go cycling a lot, and this is the most activity I do. Better for me to get this bundle than to get the individual accessories themselves. Now, there are loads of different ones. There are skate bundles, bungee, climb bundle, running, jet ski, like literally any kind of activity and sport that you could think to use your Insta360 camera with, they have a bundle for it. So this obviously is for action kind of shooters, and each one will have a different range of accessories to suit that specific sport or activity. So for example, the bike bundle has a chest strap, a handlebar mount, and a helmet mount. That's pretty much all you need to shoot some bike shots. So these aren't individual accessories, there's nothing special, but it just makes it very easy to know what you need to get. You don't have to think about, am I missing anything? So I think that's a really good idea from Insta360 to just bundle these things together. So yeah, check them out if you have a sport that you specifically want to shoot. Maybe they'll have a bundle ready for you. Next up is the smallest little accessory that I recommend. It's here, it's this tiny little thing. This is a vibration dampener. Now, the reason I think that this is one of the more important things you should consider, well, this will be important if you were shooting anything where your camera is going to be attached to something that vibrates a lot or that moves very quickly. So, like a mountain bike, a car, a motorbike, anything that's going to be experiencing a lot of vibrations, you're going to want to get this. The number one reason is because it's going to improve the quality of your video. You're going to have less shakes, which is, even with the amazing stabilization with the cameras, heavy vibration is going to be noticeable. With this, it is reduced significantly. Number two is that a lot of vibration can actually damage the very delicate components in the camera. If you attach your camera to a motorbike and to the handlebars and you start driving at 100 kilometers per hour, you're gonna probably end up breaking the camera eventually. Not straight away, but if you did it for a long time, over and over again, something may move in the camera when it's vibrating a lot and it's just not gonna work anymore. So I've only ever tested this on a normal bike, not a motorbike, cycling along the fairly uneven roads and pavements of London, and yeah, I did notice a difference. So it does work, it does do something, but yeah, I think for anyone doing that kind of level of action shots, this is going to be needed. Next up is another fairly new accessory from Insta360. It is the backpack mount. I think this is also a really good idea, and I think is useful in a lot of scenarios. If you are going hiking, skiing, climbing, even just walking around the city that you're visiting with a full backpack, then this mount will allow you to shoot third-person video without having to hold the camera, without having to touch it. So basically, you'll be hands-free to do whatever you want. It just is the easiest way to shoot. This mount really only works if your backpack is really, really full. So I would recommend a kind of smaller backpack, because when the backpack is full, the camera can be mounted really tightly and it won't fly about. So when I tried it with a kind of loose backpack that was only half full, it didn't stay in one position, which is not what you want. You don't want the camera swinging around every time you turn around. So that's the pro tip. When it's used properly, it's a really, really good idea. Okay, my final recommendation for Insta360's accessory is this weird looking thing here. I mean, it just looks like I broke one of the invisible selfie sticks because I'm so strong. This is called the monkey tail mount, I think, and because you can position it in any which way you want. The reason this is awesome, because you can literally wrap this thing around anything that you see and it's going to stay in one place. I think it's got some wires or something inside it, so it's really, really sturdy. I've like wrapped it around fencing, railing, and it just allows you to use your cameras or mount your camera in places that you would never really be able to otherwise. It's easy to carry around. You don't have to carry around a big monopod, tripod, whereas you can just wrap this around a tree or a fence or anything, a lamppost, and it's gonna stay in one place. It also has a mount here, so you could also attach a little mini tripod or something if you wanted it to stand up on the ground. But yeah, so this is really neat. I think it's fairly inexpensive, and I think most people will be able to get a lot out of it, regardless of whether you were doing action shots or just walking around filming your vacations. Okay guys, so I think that's it. I don't want to bombard you with loads and loads of accessories, because there are loads more. I'm sure people would find some of them useful and others not. So maybe you won't find these useful, I don't know, but I think these are... You don't have to get all of these, by the way. I'm not suggesting you get all of them, but I think these are the ones that would give the most benefit and the ones that would improve the quality of your videos the most. So if you were going to get some, these would be the ones. Specifically, the invisible selfie stick is number one. I think everyone should get that. If you want kind of some tutorials or something about how to get the most out of these, let me know. If you want a more deep tutorial about how to use the invisible selfie sticks or in different scenarios, because you can get some really good effects, then yeah, comment below and I'll do that. The links to these accessories are below. It would be great if you bought from that, because then it helps me keep this channel going and keep doing this stuff, which is really fun. So yeah, that'd be awesome. But that's it guys, until next time, I'll see you around. Bye.